Breaking news, friends. This is a WASD and Beyond and Diggity First. This is the first time we've all gotten together for breaking news that just happened today. We're not late. I got Evan. I got Jeff. I got Bodacious Brody. I told you I was doing it tonight, Brody. Bodacious.
Jesus.
Dude, this is some big fucking shit.
It is.
We were all at
really
work
big shit
when this dropped. And the text messages in our private Discord was just going ting, 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 ting.
It was pretty nuts, dude. It's pretty crazy.
Bigger shit than Nick usually takes, to be honest. Which is impressive because usually those are those are typically yeah.
I got big dukes. I got big
Those
dukes,
are,
man.
what'd you call them? Moats?
This is some serious OBO energy going on right now.
Moats.
It's a mix, right?
I called my poo the other day a moat, a mother of all turds. It's a moat, like a Moab. Mother of all Jeff. So, dude, let's just get right into it. This is a surprise episode. This is going to be uploaded on our end, audio wise, tomorrow, and the hot fix is coming out on Thursday. Diggity podcast. Do you guys know what you guys are doing, or
we'll upload it tomorrow as well?
You guys are getting double content from all of us tomorrow.
Kerchow.
With that being said, no Kerchow, no Toy Story, no
dude.
Pixar.
It just fucking came out. It didn't even.
It just
happened, dude.
Like a soliloquy.
Can we do Penguins of Madagascar? Is that okay?
Yes, the penguins are
smile
fine.
and wave, boys.
Smile and wave, boys.
We are all Lightning McQueen on this blessed day.
That's right.
Stop it, bro. You're fucking getting it. Anyways, Jeff, let's get right into it, dude. What happened?
Yeah,
today?
sure. I'll run through the little Cole's notes here. So, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for $68.7 billion in an all cash deal. Completely cash. Just out of pocket. Right out of daddy's wallet.
What a flex.
Yeah, huge flex. This is...
Daddy's
to put
wallet.
this into comparison, they bought Minecraft... God, how many years ago? That was way back. But for about $2.4 billion is what they purchased Minecraft for. This is $69 billion, which is
a couple years ago
insane.
they bought ZeniMax for 8. Yeah, I was just going to say 8 billion.
It was like 7 point something or whatever.
7.8 or 9. It was close to that. Yeah, it was like around 8 billion is what everybody said.
This is by far and away the largest video game acquisition in
ever
the history of
one of the
games.
largest media acquisitions in history. This would have bought, in terms of Disney buying LucasArts, this would have bought LucasArts 17.5 times over.
Yeah, LucasArts and Marvel both were $4 billion apiece.
Jesus.
Like, I think when they bought Fox, that was higher, but it was like
7 or 8 billion, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
$7
or $8 billion more than what Xbox just paid for Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
Now the big questions that are arising is with, obviously, first off, Bobby Kotick, the CEO. This deal will not close. It's being said that it will be closing in the fiscal year of 2023 for Microsoft, which their fiscal year ends June 30th. So by June 30th, 2023, this should close. However, it's going to go through intense scrutiny.
Is that the fiscal year for 2022, though? Would 2023, the fiscal year, technically be in 2024?
No, their end
carries over, right?
Yeah. Their end of fiscal year is June 30th for Microsoft.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's interesting about this is that this is probably going to get broken up a bit because of the monopolistic nature of this and because the dollar value is so high. However, this is also an industry that right now all the old fucks in Congress really don't take a look at this to really understand what the fuck's going on here. And they kind of leave it alone for the most part. I mean, obviously Microsoft has made a bunch of acquisitions in the past, every year pretty much, a decently sized acquisition of something. But this is obviously the biggest among it. They discussed, I don't want to say a spoiler, I want to take it with a grain of salt, but P3 and some of the legal team and PR team of Microsoft came out and basically stated that they will continue to operate, Activision Blizzard will continue to operate as an individual organization until this deal is done. Okay. So it will be its own individual company. It will handle its own matters, and it will handle any issues of itself on its own without Microsoft because this deal has to close. There's also Activision Blizzard, a publicly traded company. So all that shit has to be figured out. There has to be the share buyout. There has to be figuring out what the fuck do you do with that. And
as you were saying with Bobby Kotick too, he will remain on until the deal's closed. Yes. That has been confirmed. And then after that, P3 has already said that once the deal goes through, everyone will report to him as CEO of Xbox games. So and Kotick came out and said something as well, and he basically said, like, I will be around, but basically he knows he's getting fucking shit canned at that point.
However,
like, once this deal goes through, he's probably gone.
Phenomenal. $256 million golden parachute.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
Blown out under different conditions. The smallest one, I think, is 252 if he dies, 256 if it's termination because of, something fucking terrible, like, and it goes up to like 260 or 280, something like that. So if it's a clean transition.
His deal also ends in 2023 as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So he doesn't necessarily get that. I think there was still like a severance of like 70 million or something like that from what I was reading. So still certainly not bad, but if they kick him out before his contract is technically up, that's a pretty significant amount. I mean, not when you
also his shares that he holds too, right?
Yeah.
He's going to get bought out of every single one of those shares.
So
which is a disgusting amount of shares.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Gross, yeah.
So I can't read the original article of this because I have to make an account and subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, which I will not do.
Yeah, don't do that.
But I got it through IGN, which was an update that was given today, which said, according to the Wall Street Journal, sources familiar with the deal say that Activision CEO Bobby Kotick is set to leave, even though the contradictory statement saying that he'll continue to serve. The two companies have kind of basically just said that he's going to be gone once the deal's through.
Get him out of there.
Right. He's out. And
it's going to be at least a year and a bit.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. He did not specifically address whether he will stay or leave. This is what I'm reading from IGN, so that's just what they wrote. So you can't get mad at me. It's get mad at them. Beyond ensuring the very best integration, but with the deal still waiting to be finalized, Microsoft and Activision Blizzard could be keeping the full details of their arrangement private for now. It makes sense that they'd say he's going to stay on until the deal's done, just for
that would be
stability.
Awful, right? Yeah, that would be a mess to try to figure out while you're going through that process of buying and transferring everything. Like, it makes sense to keep him on it. I mean, as much of a shitbag as this guy may or may not be, doesn't matter. Right now, Microsoft's looking to close a very fucking important and large deal, so it makes sense to keep him there, at least for the time being. But
it's the deal that helps him corner the market even more so.
Yeah. And even if he stays on, he has to report to Phil Spencer.
Yeah, I was going to say, even for the time being, as this deal continues to move forward, like, he's going to be walking more of a tightrope than he already was walking with everything that's going on currently. So
yeah, and Phil's not going to take any shit from him, right? Like,
here's the problem, though, too, is that these are both publicly traded companies. So both companies are going to do as much as possible to keep the status quo because you don't want your fucking shit falling.
Yeah.
And right now it's Microsoft stock that could fall. It's not fucking Activision because no one's going to give a fuck about that stock. They're going to care more about the Microsoft side of stuff.
Microsoft, yeah.
So
Activision stock shot the fuck up this morning.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Could you imagine having stock in Activision, then this happens? You're like,
yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
Hold up.
So some notable stuff from it. It's going to be the three notable studios from it are Activision, Blizzard, and King. King, I think, is the most overlooked thing on this because it's a huge mobile game.
Oh, it's massive. I mean,
you're talking Candy Crush, just in hundreds. I think of mobile games at this point and other micro studios underneath of them that they've purchased.
Bread and butter.
That's like their most profitable IP. Like Warzone brings in a shitload of money, but I mean, Candy Crush alone brings in just stupid money. People love their pooping games, man.
Yeah. So we got games like Overwatch, Diablo, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, and StarCraft, just to name a few. Going to them. Then studio-wise, you've got Treyarch, Raven, High Moon, Beanox, Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, Demonware, and Toys for Bob.
Yeah, pretty. I
can't believe most of the studios were Call of Duty studios.
There's a lot of Call of Duty in there for sure. But on top of that, they now also have Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, which is fucking ironic as hell.
Yes,
like the irony is very fantastic.
Well, like I feel like Microsoft itself could benefit from having a Crash Bandicoot and a Spyro because they don't really have that. Like, here's our
3D
kid mascot type thing, except for Ratchet and Clank, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this kind of expands that universe for them to a degree.
Well, they had ukulele.
Ratchet
and Clank's PS. They had ukulele and they technically own
ukulele.
Well, they had ukulele.
Banjo-Kazooie.
They do own banjo, right? But they haven't done shit with that. So
we'll see what they do.
They own this would be the rights to Tony Hawk as well. I don't remember which studio that Umbrella actually is.
And
I think the
Guitar
last
Hero.
one was Toys for Bob, right? Like the remake was.
And Guitar Hero.
Do they still own? I thought Activision lost the rights to Guitar Hero years ago.
I made a list
They used to.
of what's left in terms of big game companies.
What's left?
And their market cap size, just so we can understand. First of all these are much smaller than the market cap of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah.
So what's left is Nexon, 15 billion, Take-Two, 18 billion, EA, 38 billion, Embracer, 10.8 billion, Bandai Namco, 15 billion, Netmarble, 7 billion, Ubisoft, 7 billion, Konami, 6 billion, Square Enix,
Ubisoft is only 7?
Yeah. Square
There
Enix,
was a hostile takeover that
5.6
happened with them a
billion,
while ago.
Capcom,
That's true.
4.9 billion, and Sega, 3.6 billion.
Sega's only 3.6 billion. Oh, how the mighty!
So if you add all these up, they pretty much could have bought all of these people.
Brody and Evan are laughing at a number that we will never see in our life.
This is true. But fucking
Don't worry about it.
Relatively compared to Activision, Sega
Correct.
used to be right up there with Nintendo, right? Like,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
and here we are, where they're the lowest on the list that he just read off.
Do you guys want me to read the list of the studios that they now own
It's fucking
We may as
disgusting.
well.
in their
There's
entirety?
like 30 something on there, isn't it?
So Activision Blizzard King, Treyarch, Raven, High Moon, Beanox, Sledgehammer Games, Infinity Ward, Demonware, Toys for Bob, 343 Industries, World's Edge, The Coalition, Compulsion Games, Double Fine Studios, Xbox Game Studios Publishing, this is the marketing arm, The Initiative, In Exile Entertainment, Mojang Studios, Ninja Theory, Obsidian Entertainment, Playground Games, Rare, Turn 10, Undead Labs, Bethesda Game Studios, ZeniMax Online, ID, or id Software, sorry, Arcane, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse
disgusting.
Studios.
Stop.
So the reason I'm fucking dying laughing, again, mind you, before this generation started, I pre-ordered a PlayStation, right? I love my PlayStation, I love my Xbox, but what I am about to say is gonna piss some people off. I read almost every comment I could possibly read on Twitter today just to see who showed up from the Sony camp, and wasn't many. There was not a lot of comments from the Sony camp today.
Chirps. It was fucking crickets.
Yeah, all of the chirps about, hey, Xbox has no fucking games, all that shit fucking went out the window. They're like, it's not fair. We might not get Call of Duty. Like,
Call of Duty.
fuck around and find out,
So
guys. Like,
there was
fucking
something.
keep saying that shit. They're just gonna keep buying people.
There was
It's
something
disgusting.
that P3 hinted at, and take it, Jesus Christ, take it with a grain of salt, and the PR department also. But he had stated that they will look to continue during this time while they obviously merge. It will still obviously run independently, right? So everything's going to be multi-console.
Yeah.
They will continue to look to put things multi-console, but things so like I would expect things like Warzone, for example, will be multi-console.
Yeah.
Call of Duties, however, could have the chance of being
Maybe.
exclusive. However, the problem that persists there when it comes to like World of Warcraft, and I understand like they have Game Pass and stuff like that, and we'll get into that shit later, is just there's so many fucking people there, and they've been so used to doing something else, and they don't have a fucking Xbox. They've never wanted one.
No.
They don't give a shit about it. So, I mean, I don't think there's much need to worry, honestly.
At least your major multiplayer games, like we talked about earlier, I think your Overwatch and I think your Call of Duty are going to remain multi-platform because they make a fuckload of money off those. And on top of that, Overwatch is when it is healthy, is a top contending esports game, right? So they're not going to want to get rid of that. Warzone's the same way. It's in that esports category as well, or well, Call of Duty in general. But Warzone is such a big money maker that I don't think they'll want to change that too much. But I mean, your things like Diablo, I can see Diablo being console exclusive to Xbox. I can see various different things being exclusive. I mean, they could do something where like the campaign of Call of Duty is only on Xbox, but you can play multiplayer on PlayStation.
Would that
Some
make
shit
sense,
like that,
though?
right?
Would that
That'd
make
be
sense
weird.
though?
I mean,
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
make
I
sense,
think
but
so.
it makes sense,
Do
but it'd
it.
be weird. Yeah, they would totally.
Well,
the way I looked at it, though. Oh, sorry. Did you?
Yeah, I was
go?
just gonna say that the problem.
Yeah, go.
I think I've seen people argue this online. Is they're like, well, they want to sell consoles. They don't really give a shit about that. They have a fucking service. The service runs
Game Pass.
on everything from Xbox One S to the Xbox Series X now, and eventually it's just gonna be and also xCloud is full on cloud gaming. They don't give a shit about that. They just they're building a Netflix, and they happen to have some nice Roku sticks that you can fucking buy right now to tide you over until they're a full blown Netflix.
Yeah,
And
And
then
then-
just stream everything, or I guess Stadia, right, would be the perfect example for it to go toe to toe.
Oh, you want to bring those guys up? They just
Well,
crucified
nobody
you
plays
on
that
Twitter.
shit. So you go ahead.
Oh,
Evan.
there we go.
There it
Yeah,
is.
we got that in.
All I had to do was poke him just a little bit.
Well,
It's
so-
been. I think.
Go ahead, Evan. Yeah, you're good.
Oh,
Sorry.
thanks. No,
Oh, I didn't
was
mean to
just.
cut you off.
No,
My
no,
bad.
you're fine. But like the thing I thought too though is that so at the end of the day, once the deal goes through, they don't really care what platform it gets sold on because they're making money regardless, right? So
Right, yeah.
it's like they're not gonna. I think it'd be kind of almost against them to. I mean, maybe not against them, but it wouldn't really work in their best interest if they just made it one Xbox only. But if they just let it go to any platform, PlayStation, Switch, whatever, they still make that money. So
Well, the argument for that is they want people in that ecosystem, whether it be through
Sure.
Game Pass or whether you do get a console, because now when you purchase a game, you're going to purchase it on that console, right? So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
where they do make a good portion of money, and that's why console sales are important. Console sales in general don't mean shit, because if PlayStation sells twice as many PlayStations, but the people only buy half as many games, it doesn't fucking matter. At the end of
Sure.
the day, who cares, right? So
Sure.
there is value in those console selling like single player games typically, but in the
Yeah.
multi-platform thing, especially something where it's very microtransaction heavy like a Call of Duty, like fuck that. Put it everywhere you can, because that's just more money.
Exactly.
People buying the battle pass, people buying skins, people buying, fucking
Overwatch,
Master Chief
loot
and
boxes.
goddamn Call of Duty. Like who
yeah.
crazy shit, right? But
loot boxes and Overwatch, all that kind of, especially with Overwatch 2, right? And then I also thought too, like realistically, the way they could do it is just like, okay, they can market. We have all these games on Game Pass. They show big names, right? They show COD. They show this. They show that, and they say you can get it with an Xbox Series S for only $30 more for 3 months or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And some guy's going to be a bit more incentivized to go like, well, I typically play PlayStation, but I really just play games that I could play on an Xbox, so I'll just get an Xbox, right? Like, there's going to be a small portion of that, maybe not small, but there's going to be a portion of people that are like that. But like, I mean, for me, I'm one of the people who I'd get a PlayStation just because of specific PlayStation games, like the Spider-Man games, right?
God
Like,
of War,
I wanna play-
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I want to play Spider-Man 2, and I can't do that on an Xbox, right? So
you
like
can say
that,
The Last of Us, it's okay.
I'm really trying hard not to. Don't bring it up because I'm trying my hardest. I'm trying to be different, trying to be better.
Yeah, and that Game Pass argument too. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that, because P3 has
Yeah.
also put something out where he's like, we will bring as many of these games to Game Pass as we can. So there is that little caveat
Tony
of
Hawk
like,
and shit, dude.
Yeah.
we'll see, right? Like we might not get Call of Duty on Game Pass day one.
No.
We might not. I don't know what
No.
that looks like, and I mean nobody does at this point other than those
But
guys
even
over there,
getting
and they might not even, right? Like,
Even getting it 3
Still
months
trying to
later
figure
is
that
still
shit
huge,
out.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Still
it's
huge
COD.
win.
Yeah,
So,
it's COD going on Game Pass, and then
the-
you have Overwatch, right? I could totally see Overwatch 2 going on Game Pass at launch.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could see that. I could see
yeah,
that
and then
100%.
you can just buy it on like,
Especially because the first
PlayStation.
one is garbage.
Yeah.
Now it's garbage. Now it's not.
Yeah,
good.
it's in rough shape.
So
It has not been good.
the thing that I think puts a nail in the coffin of anyone's theory of like going to exclusivity is the fact that Activision, now that they're going to own it, or at least pieces of it, or the whole damn thing. I mean, its market cap is $64 billion, so you don't really want to fuck with those revenue streams.
No.
God, no.
I think you kind of
Unless you're
want to keep
improving
that
them, right?
and maintain that
Yeah.
as a company. So you just want to probably just want to do better distribution, and Xbox is probably going to be able to help a lot with that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
mean they're just going to boost their other shit up, but I don't see this closing the way that it's shown right now. I think there's going to be some breakups a lot. Like I think
I'm
a
sure.
decent fucking amount of breakups. Because they own the fucking platform. They own the development software for the platform. They own the fucking store to sell the fucking game. They own the games, and they own the fucking PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like Class
I
A
agree.
fucking monopolization. Like if Apple bought King Games, okay, and they bought it for the use to put on Apple Arcade, the SEC would be on their ass in like no fucking time saying monopolization.
I think there may be some breakups here, but I don't think it's going to be as bad as you think. I mean, with the Disney and Fox thing, like that did get broken up quite a bit, but they still were able to capitalize on the portions that they actually cared about, right? And I think there will definitely be some hiccups along the way, but I also don't think I think a lot of the people that would be deciding upon this don't know jack
and that's
fucking
why I
shit
think
about
fucking
games.
saves them.
Yes.
Like I literally think that's the only reason why it's gonna fucking just kind of squeak through.
And I also don't know how much of like this is obviously the biggest publisher that they could have bought out of what is out there right
absolutely.
now, for sure.
What's left?
But
yeah.
like I could see this one sliding only because a lot of the studios they have bought up so far have been smaller, other than Bethesda, and even then Bethesda was, I mean, small compared to what this Activision one is. So I think if they tried to go after like EA after this, it'd be a fucking problem.
Yeah.
But I think in the grand scheme of things, numbers wise, everything that has been added up, like all of the studios they've purchased so far are like maybe equal to what they have just through Activision alone.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a complete monopoly yet. Like it is definitely from the gaming side of things, we see what it is, but I think from a pure numbers game, when they're sitting down to decide whether this is monopoly or not, I don't think they're going to view it the same way, especially when PlayStation technically has a larger market share and they have a lot of big, studios that are under them. I mean, Insomniac's not a fucking small studio. Neither is Naughty Dog, neither is Santa Monica. Like these are big fucking studios too. So
I think the difference with that though is that Insomniac, for the most part, has made exclusive games before being purchased for that thing.
Mostly, yes.
The instance of this is that this is not only between the console market, this is also on PC. Fucking mobile now too as well.
Yeah.
I also think though that Xbox has probably done their research on or Microsoft in general, sorry.
They would have had
has done
to
their
make
research.
this kind of fucking acquisition.
There's no way they're just going to try to pull this out of the blue
they're not
and
gonna
not
get-
think
yeah.
that most of it's going to go through, right? And all the important parts. And also, if they lose King, that would suck, but ultimately, that doesn't affect us as consumers for, console games or PC games. That affects mobile gamers typically, which is a huge revenue stream for them, which would bring the price down ultimately. But I think as far as your Call of Duties and stuff like that, I think they'll get all of that. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
No.
If anything, I think they would lose the mobile market.
So I really hope it doesn't happen fully, and that's not from a fanboy perspective, because I really don't give a shit. I don't have a stance on either console, but out of just the gaming industry, I think everybody is looking at short-term gains, but doesn't see the long-term pain of this fucking shit, where if a company controls this much fucking shit at one point and they have a service like this that has all these fucking massive AAA games and AAA studios on it, it's going to be next to fucking impossible for indie games.
That's what I wanted to
be
bring that up
one
as
on
well,
their platform, and to two, they're going to get squished into a and they're already fucking doing this. This is already happening, but they're going to get squished into this cookie cutter shit where it becomes, I'm going to build an indie game for Game Pass. Microsoft's going to give me $500,000 for that game, and I'm going to make it for them and give it to them. They're going to take the risk out of it, and in return, it's going to be on their platform. I'm going to make $500,000, but then I'm never going to fucking realize the potential of the game. If the game fucking blows up, I'm not going to get that revenue. But that's my only entry to market. That's fucked. That is so fucked up.
I think there's an argument to be made for that, but I also think a lot of times when the indie game blows up, it has not come to Game Pass first. Most of them have been elsewhere, usually PC first, because that's typically where an indie game will go first, is to Steam, and then it later gets acquired to Game Pass for a deal. I don't worry so much, because indie games are still indie games in comparison to a large AAA studio, but at the same time, indie games are larger now than they've ever been, like by a long shot.
Look at EA's practice, right? EA has the I don't remember the name of it, but it's like EA like will bring on like the It Takes Two guys. I
was gonna say they just won Game of the Year, and
A Way Out,
an indie developer.
A Way Out was an indie game that was just picked up by EA, and it became huge because of that, because it was from a major publisher, and it was on Origin, and you could get it through EA Play, and then people played it, and they were like, this is good. And then, like you just said, It Takes Two won Game of the Year. They were an indie studio, probably not now when that game came out. I mean, they probably were able to take on more employees, and obviously they had the funding and help, I'm sure, from EA, but
I don't think this necessarily chokes out indie games. People who are going to play Call of Duty were already going to play Call of Duty anyway. It doesn't fucking matter.
It could, though, put those indie games into its own little fucking corner and be like, this is where you are, this is where you stay, because this is where the big boys are playing.
If you want to fucking go onto a console, because...
But it already feels like that, though.
It's just going to get fucking worse, because the problem with this is it's not just what Microsoft does. Sony has to answer this, and it's going to be the same fucking shit. Sony's going to go pick up one of those fucking companies, because Sony only has about... I think Sony has like 28 billion in cash on hand or whatever. Not even close to what fucking Microsoft has, obviously.
Which is insane to think about.
Right, yeah. And they're going to go fucking pick up a bunch of shit like this, too. And then everyone's going to pick all this fucking shit up. And then the stores is going to be swamped with their fucking shit. And what do you do as a company? You have a fucking service you have to provide to the shareholder. You have to continually promote your shit. And all you have is a bunch of shit. I mean, eventually it becomes a thing where it's like every fucking week they're just going to have a game coming out with the amount of fucking studios.
It already feels like that.
I think that's fucking cool. Like, that's incredible. Yeah. Imagine imagine the frequency of games that we'll get. Maybe it won't change. Maybe I'm naive on it. But the thing is, like, Sony has to respond to that. They're going to pick shit up. Other people are going to start picking other shit up. If Stadia wants to stay alive, they're going to have to fucking pick something up. They're not going to stay alive, though. They're going to fucking die. New game hasn't come to Stadia for 28 days.
They got two.
So they're going to have... I mean, I just, from a business sense, it's going to choke out the big companies are going to go to each respective area. And I think... I don't know. The management of both these companies is great right now. I don't think it can withstand having that many companies. Honestly, I think it'll be fucking rough the first couple of years with Activision.
You think it's a powder keg then?
Activision has been rough for years already.
I know, but now try to put that into Microsoft.
It can only go up from hill here.
Microsoft is a grandfather tech company that fucking sucks at management of any sort of fucking technology.
The second Call of Duty game to release since Modern Warfare is on the exact same fucking thing as Modern Warfare was. Like, it is a identical fucking copy of the game with
I know. I agree. I'm saying from the
has been
PR.
A shit show for years.
I'm saying from the PR and management side, Microsoft is not going to fix that.
Not quickly. Not quickly by any means. But getting rid of Bobby Kotick would be a huge step in the right direction.
Getting rid of Kotick it will be a good first step.
Well, so Phil Spencer said after...
It's a toxic work culture. It's not for one guy.
No, it's not.
The guy's an asshole, but when Bobby Kotick leaves the door, it's not like all of a sudden everyone's fucking ass has rainbows glowing over it.
No,
everyone's still an asshole.
Shit, that's a problem. You got to get rid of the fucking guy.
One at a time.
Great question, though, is in the past 5 years, how many problems has... Thanks. I posed my question, and then you choke on your beer, you stupid bitch. In the past 5 years... When has there been an Xbox PR thing, right? I mean, even right after this happened, it wasn't Phil Spencer that uploaded it, but it was, I think, the Xbox in general. There's 6 men, 7 women. And Phil Spencer said after they acquired, or they're in the middle of this, they're like, we plan on extending our inclusive workspace, like who we are as a company in terms of that, to Activision, which at the end of the day is a much better thing than Bobby Kotick saying we would like to strengthen Activision Blizzard's work culture. And let's look at it that way. You say I'm going to strengthen their work culture, but like the work culture needs to change, not be stronger. That only makes that worse, Bobby.
Let me go in.
Go in.
Just a quick thing on what he was saying. Sorry, and then I'll let you. I just
no. Let Brody go first.
I was just gonna say Ravensoft has been on literal strike for 3 weeks now.
Yeah,
I don't think it gets much worse than that.
We know somebody over at Raven.
It just really doesn't.
I don't care about the striking. Striking is a bunch of people standing outside a fucking building. Anybody can do it. The thing I'm worried about and fucking annoyed about is that this becomes more and more of a giant revenue stream for Microsoft. Right now, it's managed by Xbox. Look at the rest of fucking Microsoft. It sucks dick at managing products. And as this gets bigger and bigger and bigger, Satya Nadella, the CEO of fucking Microsoft, will continue to have more reign on it, and shareholders will demand more things happen from overarching Microsoft. It will not be left alone. This is the company that made the fucking Zune, okay? This is not something to be like just, hey, everything's going to be good.
Don't bring the Zune into this. You leave it alone.
Nick. What you got, buddy?
Yeah, Nick, you go.
I got two things. One.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Bobby Kotick sitting there going, you know what we need in these games, guys? More elf tits.
Why did I let you talk?
Why did I drink? Why did I drink when you said that? Why?
That's what horny USB stick. That's
That's
Randy
Pitchford, dude. Don't be fucking around with that, dude. That's Randy Pitchford, dude. Different weirdo.
Oh my god,
magic trick. Elf tip.
Ooh, elf tits. No, dude. My question was to anybody here, and we are going to go one at a time.
Okay.
Shut up.
You can't tell me what to do.
You already ruined it.
I got told to shut up by 3 people.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Bobby.
I'm gonna go stand outside of a fucking building.
You're striking.
You know what happens when you happens when you strike? You know what happens when you strike? Your fucking company gets sold.
It was not a
that worked out well.
Strike. It was a call on the shitty culture.
Yeah,
right?
that worked out great. You fucking sold the company.
That's
worked out great.
Not the fucking point. That's not the point.
I'm sure it wasn't what their point was supposed to be, but now their company's sold.
You were so focused on the strike thing. I'm saying they are striking because they don't believe in the culture that is going on there. So clearly the culture fucking sucks, and we know that from all of the news that's been going on for the last year and a half, 2 years.
I'm just saying, everyone online's like, wow, when Bobby Kotick leaves, everything's gonna... No, it's not. It's still gonna be fucked up.
Not, but it's a step in the right direction.
It's a process.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. Some other asshole will get in there.
Brody's right. Brody's right. No. Here's where I go back to.
I had a good thing.
No, you didn't.
Good day.
No, you didn't.
I had a good thing.
Well, but no. But you let off with the elf tits thing, and you lost all credibility. So you're out, Senator.
The credibility.
I'd like you to leave.
Up with that.
Please leave the floor. Turn your microphone off. Yeah. But so Brody's got a great point though, and that getting rid of Bobby is a step in the right direction. And Xbox, like I said, can anybody here recall a PR nightmare from Xbox in terms of sexual harassment or assault allegations in the past 5 years?
I just got shanghaied on my own show, so I don't know.
You really can't.
Bill Gates.
I don't even think the last 10 years. Like they had some fucked up shit, but not PR shit.
Bill Gates.
Bill and Jeff have been. That's been out.
Gates. Yeah. But
Bill and Jeffrey,
Steve
Ballmer,
right?
Yeah, I was meaning specifically Xbox. Like
I was referring to the gaming side of shit.
Phil Spencer's
Bill is fucking bitches on yachts.
Phil Spencer's never had, as far as we know, an allegation thrown against him. Well, how hilarious would that be? Is that Xbox acquires Activision Blizzard, and then it comes out that Phil Spencer's even worse than Bobby? That would be hilarious.
Don't talk about P3
Phil Spencer's mouth out of your.
I like Phil.
Spencer's name out of your mouth. Keep his mouth out of your mouth.
Keep your mouth off.
That would get me in trouble. That would get him in trouble. But like. I agree with Brody in that it is a step in the right direction because they did. I mean, it came out that all these things were wrong. The one, I can't remember her name for the life of me, but she came out and she had a tone deaf statement, and then it just kept like Activision Blizzard has fired 40 different executives in the time since this has happened.
Still hasn't helped.
Not yet.
But it is a step in the right direction. You cut the head off.
I get it. Yeah, you have diarrhea, now it's soft stool. I get it. That's fine, boys.
All right, you gonna bring up
be optimistic about something every once in a while.
Look, I'm not. It's not that I hope that it changes. I just sit here and I go, everyone just has such a fucking. I get it's a step in the right direction. I just think it's much deeper than that, and I don't think that it's. I think it's handled fucking stupid. I think everything that's happened is terrible, but I don't think this is the way up to this point that everyone should have acted.
We are fully acknowledging that. Like, I also don't think it's going to be sunshine and rainbows, but at the same time, if the guy knew about all the shit that was going on and he's still at the company, the first thing you need to do is get the fucking guy out of there.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
It seems, but Activision
that.
isn't doing it. And if P3 and Xbox are going to come in and actually get rid of the guy, it is a step in the right direction to at least show goodwill that you intend to try to help. Will it help? I don't know.
I want them
Time
to
will
do
tell.
that.
Right?
I think the management's going to suck ass.
Can I go to my two-parter now?
Ass.
Do you think? Okay. Do you think? No. You can't. You've lost, Nick. Stop.
I have a two-parter. That's it.
You made me choke on my whiskey. You're
Nick,
not.
just
You
go.
say
Let Nick
no
go.
more
Let
again,
Nick go.
you won't
Let
get
Nick
to
go.
talk the rest of the episode.
Fine, Nick. You get to go because Jeff said you get to go, and Jeff's taller than me, so you get to go.
Go ahead.
Is that the rules of logic?
It is now, or I beat you up and then I become you,
just
but I
wanna
don't
hear
want
the
to beat you
stupid
up
thing
because
you're
I don't
gonna
want to
say.
become you.
What's
This
the
isn't
thing you
stupid. What I'm asking, like,
It's stupid.
in
It's so
perspective
stupid.
of, like, let's say, like, a 10-year, like, span. Let's give this a 10-year span. Is this a powder keg waiting to blow with all these companies that Microsoft has pulled in? Like, is it going to be an eventual powder keg where it's like, holy shit, like Jeff was saying, like, that is a lot of people to have under you. That's a lot of people for the management, which Microsoft has proven that they aren't always able to withhold. But the morals seem to be there, and that is great.
Mm-hmm.
But in a business perspective, are they going to be able to hold every studio accountable for their actions? Are they going to be able to keep these studios on track of development, quality control, and anything in that nature? Or is this a powder keg for Microsoft itself? It's great in the grand scheme, and it looks and sounds fucking phenomenal for Microsoft.
I don't think so.
You don't think it is? Okay.
I don't think it's a powder keg. No, I think the more people you hire on, and not necessarily the amount, but the fact of, like, again, Xbox has had in the past couple of years they had that botched launch with Halo, and that was because like people made fun of Craig, which fuck you guys. He's on tour right now. He's on Zeta Halo. Let him do his thing, and he's doing his job. He's being a rock star, but they pushed it back, right? And that was a straight up thing. They were like, okay, yeah, no, people don't like the look of this. We're gonna delay it, and they didn't delay it by 3 months. They delayed it by nearly a year.
Yeah,
and
correct.
Guess what? Like Stalker 2 was coming out on Game Pass. That was one of their big titles they were launching with. Guess what? They said we're going to delay it. They didn't delay it 3 months. They delayed it nearly a year again.
Nearly a year,
or a little bit less than that, like 8 months.
So what you're saying is that it seems like they're going about it in a very good way. So
the way I've seen it so far is that these studios are under Xbox, and then they have a problem, and Xbox is kind of like, okay, well, they're not going to dictate the decision for them and say, no, you're going to release it. They're not going to be EA and say the game's not done, release Battlefield 2042 right now. They're not going to do that.
Correct.
And so far, that's been their practice. Their practice is actually delay it longer than maybe you need to.
Right. Polish.
Maybe Halo. Maybe Halo was ready 6 months after they delay, or 6 months after the delay, but they kept it to December because Xbox is like, we can afford the time, we can afford the money, so make sure it's good, and now you have an extra 2 months or whatever for any surprise emergencies that happen, right? Whether it's a game-breaking bug here that you figure out or whatever. And Halo came out, and it was, as far as I know, from what my experience playing it, a masterpiece. It ran great. It ran fine. Yeah, so that's kind of my experience with it, is that Xbox is not somebody, as of right now, I'm not going to say they're always going to be like this, so I'm not going to throw myself under the bus in 10 years when I'm 32. Right. God forbid I ever get that far.
When the whole company is fucking,
right, a powder keg, whatever it might be,
10 years out, but I mean,
right, like I don't see it as a powder keg. I see it as just like, I see it, if anything, as a good thing, just because while I don't play every Xbox game that comes out or every game that comes out on Game Pass, but Forza's been coming out, and it's been pretty stellar every year. They've been getting great reviews every year they come out, right? Whether it's the Motorsport series or Horizon. Halo's gotten good reviews. Stalker's probably... I'm not going to say that. Nope, I take that out of my mouth right there. Throwing it back at the world. Throwing it back at the internet.
It comes out.
Yeah, I'm not going to pull a Cyberpunk right now. But, think of all the other games. 12 Minutes was a game that came out on Game Pass. That was really well praised from what I remember. So maybe they don't dictate everything that goes on with Activision Blizzard, right? Like, I don't think they're going to go to Blizzard and they're going to go and say, hey, we don't really like the look of Overwatch 2 yet. But if they come... maybe it's something more akin to the version of the developers of Overwatch 2 go to Xbox.
Right.
And they say, this isn't going very well, we need to delay it. And then Xbox goes, well, how long do you need? What are the problems? How much of a fucking mess is this?
Right.
Like that's probably their first question is how much of a mess is it? Is it a problem here and there that we can fix in a couple months? Or is it like you guys said you were coming out in 2022, like June, and you guys have half a game and you're not going to have the other half by May or something like that, right? Like maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part, but I like to believe that at least P3 is going to be like, nah, man, we're not going to just release shitty games just to make a quick buck like EA has done. And EA has made that actually pretty blatantly clear. They don't really give a shit about the quality of their games. They just care about making the money from it.
Right. So I want to piggyback off
2042 is a good
you
example.
before I assume Jeff is going to come in with a different opinion based on what he said so far.
Jeff, do you see his face?
Look at those lips.
Yeah,
Look at those
he
lips.
knows it, right?
Put those lips out. I'm going to smack him.
I've read interviews that people have done with some of the developers that have been picked up from Xbox. And so far, they have all been extremely positive. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like most of them are able to operate as they were before the purchase, but now they have more money backing them. And if they need more time, they can get more time. And then if they have a problem, they can also turn to Xbox for extra help because there are so many studios now. They can offer help from elsewhere. So it seems like everything is more cohesive. Like I think Activision will be able to operate as Activision somewhat was before, but they're going to have someone they have to answer to, right? There is still Xbox at the head of it. Like, hey, before you put this game out, we want to see it. And honestly, for me, I would love to see them slow Activision down on Call of Duty. I'd love to see them take Sledgehammer and let them make the actual Call of Duty games, put them out every couple years instead of every year, which probably isn't going to happen, and keep Ravensoft working on the actual Warzone mode, and then keep I'm drawing a blank on the other one at the moment.
Who'd you say?
That typically does who normally does the zombie mode?
Treyarch.
Yeah, let Treyarch do a zombie and do their own standalone zombie mode, which a game would be fucking cool. Have Warzone continue to do its thing with Ravensoft, and then have Sledgehammer work on the mainline games, and don't have them release every fucking year. Like something like that would greatly improve that franchise, and now they have an incredible backing from, more money than God fucking Microsoft over there, right? So it seems like as long as they are operating as they have been with like Obsidian and all of these other studios that they have really been bringing on so far, it seems like everything looks good, right? At least from the interviews that I've read or listened to or whatever it may be. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of things going on here, but also, Microsoft is a huge-ass company in itself, even outside of the Xbox realm, and they have been able to somewhat manage that. I'm not going to say it's fucking perfect by any means, but they do a relatively decent job. You don't hear a whole lot of shit about Microsoft as a at least in their business practices with, like, misconduct and things like that. That typically does not come up very often, right? Outside of Bill. But he is also gone now and has been gone for a while. So take it with a grain of salt. But I really do think that this is a good thing. And I think it could only be good for Activision at this point, because Activision has been in a fucking whirlwind of shit for years now. Overwatch has been in what seems like development hell. Jeff Kaplan left. All of these important people to that product have left. And now hopefully they get the right support in there to make this game actually good and follow out the idea that they had and make Call of Duty actually good again, because that's been a fucking while. Like, I enjoyed Modern Warfare, but I haven't enjoyed anything since then. I don't even really enjoy.
I'm gonna make Call of Duty great again hats.
Yeah, we'll fucking sell that as a shirt. We'll give you a link in the bio here soon. But I really think there's a lot of potential there, and to let instead of just churning out this Call of Duty machine, which they will continue to do because it is a moneymaker, it'd be nice to see them split those studios up, because there's a lot of good talent there. There's a lot of good things that could happen with a standalone zombies game, and and then have Warzone continue to do its thing and actually operate well and clean up some of that mess.
And who knows? I just thought of this as you said that last bit, Brody, about those studios having all that talent. Maybe these studios didn't want to make Call of Duty every year. Maybe they had other ideas. Maybe they had other things that they want to do. What if Raven Software was like, hey, or I think it was Raven or Sledgehammer that made Call of Duty World War II, and what if they said, hey, we want to make a Vietnam game, and it's completely separate from COD. Like we're using a COD engine, but it's a story-based game. We're gonna have multiplayer, but the multiplayer is gonna be more akin to something that's a bit more hardcore. It's not. It's like Rising Storm 2, something like that. Maybe Sledgehammer is like, yeah, we want to go back and we want to do World War One. I know everybody just groaned and they went sticks and stones. World War One's so old, whatever. Yeah. But look at it from the perspective of that. I would rather see Raven and Sledgehammer and they go back and they make these greater games that are like, dude, I would totally appreciate a Medal of Honor style of game from one of these studios who have had the time and money to develop it, rather than just being like, yeah, we worked on zombies for Vanguard, and then you load up Vanguard and it's like, I don't understand any of this shit. It's basically the same map as it was last year or 2 years ago whenever they had the last Zombies mode. I'd rather just not even play it. I guarantee you Zombies is not played anymore on Vanguard. It's probably more so played on Cold War. But even then, like, it gets old. It gets stale, and it has been stale. Obviously, the Call of Duty fanboys, they love to play them, and they love to play Warzone. That's fine. My dad, he's not really a fanboy, but he plays it because he's got nothing better to play. But what if, I don't know, indulge that thought process of maybe they go back and make it. Sledgehammer was founded or created, I think, in part by the guys who made fucking Dead Space. Right. Like, you think they don't want to go and do something different? Like,
I think Toys by Bob has been underutilized. They've been capitalizing on that remake, that nostalgia money, right? Like they made the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which felt fucking perfect, especially after Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5. Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 sucked, but the remakes were incredible. The Spyro game they did, fantastic. The Spyro remasters that they did, great. The Crash Bandicoot games they made, incredible. Like they've done a great job, and they've done a good job of capturing that feeling. Now let them do something new, because the nostalgia stuff's cool, but at the same time, like that studio is clearly very talented, and I think they're being drastically underutilized.
Maybe that's what Xbox does. Maybe Xbox,
I hope so.
They bring every studio in from Activision Blizzard and they say, what are the projects you're currently working on that you were working with them that are like in the pipeline, and we're not going to cancel those? And what do you, as a company, want to do? What do you want to make? What do you want to create? Because now you have free reign. Like, imagine,
in a perfect world, at least,
this would be crazy, and I don't think they could do this because DICE is owned by EA. But if they bought DICE specifically as a studio and said, what do you want to make? And they said, we want to make this Battlefield. It's going to take us at least 5 years. We have this many maps, this many weapons, this many things planned, like whatever. And Xbox went, sure, go ahead, do it. Because we were supposed to get crazy shit with 2042. We were supposed to get volcanoes, earthquakes, firestorms. And we got one tornado that goes to 7 different continents. It's the same one. You think I can't tell that? I've seen Twister. I know how tornadoes work. Okay? I'm an expert.
Drastically cut back for sure.
Exactly. So, like, imagine that. I mean, like, maybe that's just me trying to be optimistic with the sense of, like, that these game developers they're not right, and this isn't an insult. They're not scientists. They're artists. They're creators. They want to build something, and they want to build a world of some kind. And I feel like that's underutilized when it comes to Activision, especially the studios that work in Call of Duty. They have 4 or 5 studios working on Call of Duty, but they're just, you know, it's like
copy paste.
If you don't think you're going to make this much money, then you need to figure out how to get to this dollar amount, like that you think you should get within the first 6 months. That's what you should get. And then they have to cut back on their creativity. They got to cut back on their innovation, right? And then they got to go and say, yeah, we built Call of Duty Cold War. We brought back all the characters from the previous ones because we didn't have any better ideas, or more so probably due to the fact of they know that's going to sell.
Right.
Because people know how much they love Black Ops 1 and 2, right? So they're going to go bring back the characters from those games and then put them in like a middle sequence where it somehow fits.
There's Captain Price.
Yeah, somehow fits, but really doesn't fit into the rest of the games.
Right.
And then there you go. And then, of course, it's a cash cow. They make a ton of money on it. And then it combines with Warzone. So now everybody's like, oh my gosh, I can play with Cold War weapons in Warzone. This is crazy. Whoa.
Warzone's a fucking mess right now with all of the combined games. It's insane.
Like I just maybe that's just me. I'm more on the side of a pro developer in the sense of I want them to be able to create the best thing they can create. If what they create isn't considered good by the community or by the industry at large, that's a whole other thing. But I'm more onto the side of let's see what they can create rather than just stick them in a corner in an office somewhere and say, you create the next Call of Duty, but we've already kind of outlined your goals for you or like what we want you to do. Like, do something new, do something exciting. Modern Warfare that's all they were about, right? Sorry, I'll stop after this.
No, you're good.
But like Modern Warfare was all about like, we're taking it to the modern era and we're going to be drastic, we're going to be shocking, right? But it wasn't. It was for shock value. You weren't
killed the baby 4 times and got kicked out of the game.
Dead. Man, yeah,
sounds like somebody that did it.
Yeah, he plays the clear house mission, and then every single time he gets to the baby in the crib, he shot the baby, and then they kicked him out of the campaign and said, maybe you should go do something else.
Maybe you should call someone.
But like they started that whole campaign off with mom and her son walking around, and a guy steps out of a van in a full bomb suit mask, and he hits the button right before it cuts to black. But there was no real shocking thing about that. It was just like, okay, yeah, you're just doing what is terrible about the world just to show that you can do it in a video game. It really isn't that impressive, right? I mean, even I'll throw it back. World War II did a better thing. Call of Duty World War II did a better thing where the story was good, and one of the characters that you might have connected to ends up in a concentration camp because he's captured by Nazis, and then they find out that he's a Jew. So then they throw him in a concentration camp, and then you find him at the end of the game, and you walk through the houses in the concentration camp. That hits way harder than just, yeah, that's a suicide bomber. He blew up a couple cars. He started shooting civilians. It's just like No Russian. Like No Russian was crazy when it came out, but now it's really not. It's not that shocking anymore. Yeah, not only because we see so much awful shit like that in real life, but because you can clearly tell when a developer is using it for an emotional impact versus just, it looks crazy, it looks wild, it looks shocking, so we're going to use it for that purpose only, not because we want you to think about it, right? Just because it looks bad, or not bad, but it looks interesting on paper so much. So
yeah, and with
that's my 2 cents.
With the Call of Duty IP, there's Ravensoft, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer that are all working on the games, and they usually
and Infinity Ward
in Infinity Ward, and I think Ravensoft usually is a support studio for
other stuff.
For one of the other studios typically. So usually it's like a 3-year cycle for these guys. So they're still churning out this game every 3 years, which is crazy. Like that's insane. Like most AAA games aren't seeing that. And if they create a campaign as well, that's its own thing. And then you get on top of that, like you get the multiplayer, which ends up being copy and paste, and it's to the point where it's almost like Madden at this point. Like it is so copy and paste, it is fully expected, and I think more time and more of like either 1 or 2 studios focused on this IP rather than the 5 that they or 4 that they currently do, and just separate those off and let somebody else do something cool. Like, so I just want to see something cool from Activision. They're essentially becoming EA at this point, where it's cookie cutter bullshit. So
to add on to what you said about Raven Software, most of what they've done has been assisting on things. They have done the remastered version of Modern Warfare. They assisted on World War II, assisted on Black Ops 3, assisted on Modern Warfare, and then they co-developed Warzone and Black Ops Cold War together with Treyarch, and then Warzone was with Infinity Ward. But most every other, like Advanced Warfare, that was developed by Sledgehammer with Raven assisting. Ghosts was Infinity Ward with Raven assisting. God, we can forget about that one. Just wipe that from the stone tablet that we keep all our history on. Black Ops 2, same thing. That was Treyarch with Raven assisting. So, like, they've really just been kind of shoehorned into, you're going to just help them, you know? Right. And it's like, well, what if they have a great idea? Like, what if, but they've been underutilized, like you said, like, and I think that might be the case for some studios on there. I think that give them a chance, see what happens. If it sucks, it sucks. But like, now you know your limit, or you know where Raven works best in, right? Jesus, look at it the other way. What if they have a fucking hit? You know, What if they have like a slam dunk that like knocks out the last 3 COD games in terms of sales combined, or reviews, or you know, whatever, right? Like, I especially imagine that there are people there that work at Raven that are kind of like, I'm tired of just assisting with something. You know, I got into this business because I want to build something, and all I've done is help these other games come out, and then those other games, you know, get shit on. for lack of a better words. I mean, whether they deserve it or not. I mean, Modern Warfare, I particularly appreciated its multiplayer, its combat, and its gameplay and its story. But look at what came out before it. It was what, Black Ops 4, which was like, just stop. Or Infinity Warfare or Infinite Warfare, the space one with Jon Snow as the bad guy. Like, we can stop.
Loved that campaign though.
Like,
cool
really? Jon Snow, bro.
Yeah.
They liked it because in the first 5 minutes you died to Conor McGregor. He beats you in the snow on a random
break
planet.
his leg.
That would have my final thought, and then I'll shut the fuck up and let somebody else talk.
It's Jeff's turn after this.
It is Jeff's turn for sure.
Sorry, Jeff.
My final thing is one thing to look at and why I am hopeful for this acquisition. When Playground Games got purchased by Microsoft Studios, it was in 2018. They had been known for making Forza games for the entire time they've been around, basically. Now, once they do get purchased by Xbox, they are now making the Fable series. They now have access to other IP. They now have access to and the freedom to actually expand their studio because they have a bunch of more money behind them, and they aren't trapped to doing what they know will make money. And they can experiment with making a new series and reviving an old series like Fable, a series that hasn't seen anything in a while. And that's why I'm hopeful for this. I think with the broad range of things that Xbox now owns, you could maybe see some revival. Like Toys by Bob could come in and do some Banjo-Tooie shit. Like, that'd be fucking sweet. Like, bringing Banjo back would be awesome. And I think Toys by Bob would be the best studio to do that, according to what they've done recently. And I really believe that, I mean, from what we have seen since Microsoft has purchased these studios, it seems like they've actually given them a lot of freedom to branch out from what they are known for and do something different. And like, we haven't seen what Fable is going to look like by Playground Games
or Star Citizen
or Star Citizen. Yeah,
Starfield.
Starfield.
What did you just say? I should beat the hell out of you in this
Star
podcast.
Citizen, Starfield, very close.
They are
not
close.
Really. They're two separate words.
Close enough. But I that's something I just kind of thought of. Like, it's just cool to see Playground Games go from making Forza year after year after year after year, and now branching out and doing something cool with it, and making a Fable game of all things. And I hope that is something that actually came from Microsoft, and obviously the IP did. But I hope that's something where they're like, you guys want to try something new, like. You want to fucking get out of this racing hell that you've been in for years now? Like, not that it's necessarily a hell, but like just something different. Like, you get burnt out on doing the same shit every day, right?
Yeah, like my job. Jeff, please go before I cry.
Oh, man.
He's already crying. Go on. He's a bitch.
Fuck you.
On the powder keg stuff, I think the only difference on this one is that all the other acquisitions were so much smaller, and I get it, Bethesda's huge,
this is true.
ZeniMax huge, but they're much smaller, and they were strategic, tailored companies, so they were good at one thing.
Yeah,
sure.
And this one is snapping up a bunch of shit that does a bunch of other shit. And the inherent problem I see, like, they did it because, I mean, it's akin to a hostile takeover. Basically, the company is in PR hell and a bunch of bullshit, and they can come in, they can sweep it up, and immediately they can get the clouds lifted on the PR, like I think I mentioned in our Discord today. Which that helps. But I think the difference in this is that fundamentally they do so many different things at the same time. I just don't see them managing it well, and I hope I'm wrong, but the second thing I want to point to is, and I see it a lot, like on Reddit and on different stuff, and Evan, you kind of pointed to it, but like this sense that like people who are working on Call of Duty are like shackled to their office desk within a facility, and that they are forced to work on something. I mean, they would just quit if they didn't want to do it. Yeah, they also have worked in games, and the money is fantastic, and you get unbelievable bonuses, and once you're in, if you're decent at it, you just keep going if you want, or you can dip out. A lot of people dip out after a couple of years into it because they want to try just a different industry. But like, I just don't think that exists. I think that, again, it's not like a broken record, but it's a publicly traded company, and so their finances have been completely public. to the shareholder, and they're not going to stop making a Call of Duty. Is not going to stop coming out every year. That's going to continue for sure. Because even Vanguard, although it's a failure amongst Call of Duty, and one would say that the only reason that it's a failure is really just, I mean, people they want modern combat. They don't want that stuff. Yeah. It's been squeezed enough.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, it has.
That still, even with its failure amongst its own family of titles, it is still outsells 98% of every fucking game on the market. So they're not going to stop that. They're going to keep that going. Sure. Ravensoft, I don't know. I would like to see them branch stuff off, but I look at Ravensoft as a jack of all trades, which I think a big studio like that needs, where you can have a group of people that are just good senior vetted people that when the other teams start fucking letting down on shit, they can go and say, hey, we'll go fucking help you out. But this also helps now that Microsoft has a network, like you said, Brody, where it's, now other companies don't have to fear, hey, I don't want you looking at my game. They work for the same fucking company now. So they can ask for expertise and other shit. So maybe that'll free some stuff up. I hope so. I'd like to see that. I'd personally like to see them take a break on COD, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because it just prints fucking money.
That was my pipe dream. Like, I'd love to see them actually take some time and make a good Call of Duty, but it's definitely it prints too much fucking money. They'll just keep doing it, unfortunately.
And maybe they will give them more intellectual property, but what besides Fable, what other intellectual property they have and hold that hasn't been touched? I mean, there's also been shit that's been fucked up. I mean, while it's somewhat minor, Battletoads is a fucking disaster.
Yeah, that's
Don't you ever talk shit. No, stop. Don't you ever talk shit about my dudes in Battletoads,
dude,
bro.
I'm not talking about fucking Pimple and Zit, dude.
One?
I'm talking about fucking
Pimple and Zit.
I'm talking about literally the handle and management of that. That was horrendous.
Yes, yes, that's stupid.
And mind you, it's Battletoads. It's not akin to a
fucking
Fable.
meme game.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think I'm not saying that you guys feel this. When you look online, you look at Reddit and all this kind of stuff, like it's its own self-fulfilling negativity in every single way, as if like people are shackled at Blizzard and they can't escape. Fucking leave.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Quit. Right. Go quit. If you can't stand, go quit. Go to fucking Riot Games. Go somewhere. I mean, first of all, Blizzard's in fucking California. All right, you can go fucking anywhere in that state.
Yeah.
And probably find yourself a fucking games job. You're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
So if you're not leaving and you want to stay, I get it. You have art. You want to fight for it. You believe in working on those things. I think that if you don't like working on something, it's either going to show through your work and you're going to get fired, or B, you're eventually going to say, fuck this, I'm going to go move on to doing something else and go work on a different team because I'm sick and tired of working on COD. But that hasn't happened.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. Absolutely.
So
I get it. I don't mean to make it sound like they're shackled, right? I just meant like it's just
I'm not saying
like,
you. I'm just saying like you go on fucking Reddit. And it's like as if everyone's being held hostage, and it's like Jesus. And I think it's
Bobby Kotick himself is sitting at the door with a gun, shaking his hand, like
don't. And I think Microsoft
model Captain Price right, model him right,
taking the other.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Just to keep it straight. I think Microsoft absolutely did the right thing in buying it because it was a pretty simple situation there to go pick that up.
You guys suck. We'll help you out.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
it's pretty much that.
So here's the problem with that too, right? They suck to the community. They don't suck on paper.
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah.
No.
On the white papers, they're fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
They suck to the community.
This is very true.
So, like, I mean,
shareholders
I want to be that
love them,
asshole.
and people still buy the game every year. So
yeah, I don't want to be like that, business asshole. But I mean, if you sit there and you're like, "That's a great business," like that's
great
a
example.
Great business.
Look at EA. No, like nobody likes EA, but
phenomenal
you assholes buy Madden every year, and that's why they keep making the same one. So stop.
Maybe it'll be better this time. Instead of it's a fucking abusive relationship. They're like, maybe he changed.
Those guys are gonna go
change.
Those guys are gonna go to me and they're gonna be like, well, you have EA Play Pro, and it's like, yeah, and I just get those two games. Like, yeah, and I subscribe to it, and I'm fine with that. but you give them $70 for each one you buy on that new fancy console of yours. And look at that. You're giving them 140. I'm giving them 100. I saved $40, asshole.
It's just
Go
a black eye. Shut up. He didn't mean it.
I have a bruise. You have a black eye. There's a difference.
One thing I will say too is
murky waters.
I'm interested to see where this goes further. Sony's going to obviously have to make some sort of an acquisition. I think Sony ups its stake in Epic Games.
I was going to bring up Epic earlier.
I think Sony ups its stake in Epic Games, and if I was Sony, I would buy more. More shares of it.
Or the Chinese government.
And then when Tencent and all that kind of shit cracks down in the next couple of years, they're going to get fucking ousted out. And you're going to be able to sweep in and buy the rest of it. So I think Sony will go in and buy some of that shit. I don't know. I could see Sony picking up fucking Square Enix. No problem.
I could see that one for sure. Now, the problem I have with Epic is I wonder if that would almost fall into the realm of monopoly, only because they hold a very important engine for a lot of developers.
Fair enough.
That would be my only concern. Like, that would be a hard one to be able to sell, where it's like, oh, this makes sense. But then again, the Chinese government has like 50% of Epic, so the fuck do I know?
This is true.
They got my data. I bought Chivalry too. They have everything. They know everything about me now.
I could see.
I play Fortnite with my kids.
I think Microsoft's going to be done for quite some time on acquisitions. I think they've got.
This is so huge. They have to.
They're done for a while. Sony has like $27 billion in cash on hand.
Yeah.
So they gotta get smaller stuff. I could see them upping the stake in Epic, but I mean, for gamers, realistically, that doesn't really mean a lot because anybody hears Epic, they just think of Fortnite
right now.
Sure, but I mean, from a let's just say like a console gamer going like, oh, they bought more stock in or bought more share in Epic or whatever. The game that's the only game really though that they think of. Everything else is secondary.
This is true, but their engine is fucking insane, right?
Like,
that's a massive deal.
And that's where
tournament, please.
And that's where they mainly worked with them anyways already because they did the whole PS5 demo.
And that's just where I think Engine. I just think gamers realistically maybe they care in the sense of like what it is, but they don't care, like that doesn't translate to a game for them, right? Like for instance, if EA was like, yeah, we invested more in the Frostbite engine, people don't really care so much. But if they said in another way, we invested in Madden and FIFA because now they use the Frostbite engine, that would get more people going. Because I don't think really, maybe it's I'm not gonna try and say that like they're not dumb, but they just don't care about the engine itself. They care about the game they get to play with it. Like
I wouldn't say necessarily gamers, right? Like I would almost lean more towards like the general public of people who play games casually. Like all of us, we run gaming podcasts. We are well aware of Unreal Engine and what it does and all of the shit that it powers, whereas somebody who plays Madden, Call of Duty, and maybe one other game a year, they may not be as well versed in that shit. Like, and that's not like a fucking cocky statement. It's just we live and breathe this shit. Like we talk about this every week for like an hour, if not more. And so we are expected to know this shit, right? This isn't like, oh, we're fucking better. No, we're fucking nerds.
The majority of revenue is from general
way
public.
Too much about video games.
They can't
exactly
be.
What Jeff said.
They can't be gaming Giga Chads like us, boys. We'll always be special.
That's right.
Yeah.
Giga Chads.
Also, if you wanted to do the engine stuff, you're making engine, like you're doing acquisition for the engine purely out of just operational efficiencies, and then also to boost your stock because the shareholders are gonna fucking love that.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And then if you buy Epic Games for the basis of Fortnite, you're gonna boost the stock that way too, and then you're just gonna get general public, which gives you far more revenue than the hardcore gamer, right?
Boy, that is the little train that could, for sure. Like that motherfucker will not stop.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, it's a blank canvas for intellectual property, and as things become hot, it just injects itself into the game, which it's just a perpetual cycle, dude.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
I will say, like, I used to shit all over that game, and I've played it so much with my kids at this point. Like, I actually do enjoy it to some extent. Like, it's not my favorite game to play by any means, but like what they have done with that game is impressive as hell.
I was waiting for Evan to leave. Like for Evan's cam to
Evan's like, fuck you. But I mean, from the standpoint of what they've done with the IP and everything else, like it's fucking ingenious. It's ingenious,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you were
it
saying.
is.
It's a blank slate. They can. What other game can you play as a team of Kratos, Aloy, Master Chief, and Thanos in the same fucking game? Like that's unreal. And
Nice,
Spider-Man, like Batman, like it's crazy what they've done with that game. And
they had the whole Thanos. The only time I played it was the Thanos game mode, where you got to get the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is pretty cool.
Keeps chugging along. The microtransactions are stronger than ever. Like it's wild. It's crazy. They have capitalized on the marketing aspect of it, and on top of that, like the amount of IP that they're able to work with is just insane.
Yeah,
it's
they know all the they know all the kiddies are playing it, right? So it's like they just
sounds
creepy. Don't I don't. Yeah, I was about to say don't say
don't
kiddies.
Like that at all. Don't say kiddies.
Hey, kitty, hop in this van. There's an Xbox
kitty.
Series X.
We got Fortnite in here.
That's what Nick said. That's how he got me on this podcast.
Hey, kitty, you want to do a podcast? Our other host, Matt Grant, can't be fucked to do anything on his own, so I need your help. We love Matt Grant here.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a one take from somebody here. It's
Can
okay,
we edit that part out? No, it's too late.
No,
Matt, you suck.
why would you edit it out? He doesn't listen anyway.
He sucks.
He has to try to hear things.
Can we?
Hang. I was gonna say you have to answer your own question here too. Like we have not heard from you on this, right?
Yeah.
So
he does. Yeah. Stupid Nick answer.
The only what? The only reason I brought that up is because I was seeing a lot of it on Twitter, and I thought it was a good question to ask you guys. I don't think it's going to be a powder keg. I think so far what Microsoft is proving that they're able to do is help develop and push these developers and companies that they've acquired along, and so far so good, right?
Right.
The more and more they acquire, though, it does make me nervous. When you start to corner the market and you garner up every little piece of everything you can, and the scraps are left, well, eventually those scraps are going to get fucking... What's the word I want to use? They're going to get desperate. So those little scraps that you ignored, they might start to make fucking games that outdo the games that you've just acquired.
No.
So that might cause internal chaos. Like, oh shit... This over here, which we thought wasn't gonna, what we had projected wasn't gonna do as well as what we have over here, is now doing better.
Right.
Fuck, which causes a spin effect, chaos. Theoretically, I'm unsure if that's gonna happen, but again, from what I'm seeing right now, so far so good. The only thing I was getting concerned with is, realistically, and that's my powder keg answer, is like I think it's gonna quahog.
Nice.
Yes.
Good reference.
So far so good. In 10 years, I don't know. Right? That's what people are asking. They're like, in 10 years. I'm like, well, I don't know. Right now.
That's so far out. Like 10 years is a long ways away. So much shit could change. Phil Spencer could leave the fucking company. Like so much shit could change.
Well, Reggie did leave. Reggie left. So
I was going to say Reggie's gone, and like, and now we have Doug Bowser. That we have seen Doug Bowser twice since he took over the fucking.
How
company.
do you?
Hold on a minute.
Okay,
hold on a
name
minute.
is Doug Bowser,
and he works for Nintendo.
Yes.
I hate that company so much.
How perfect.
It's not even his fault. I just hate them.
But my thing is this, because
his parents liked Bowser and they changed their last name to the Bowser. And
I was gonna say, where are you going with this?
Bowser,
they changed their last name.
They changed their last name to it, and they were like, "Dude, you're gonna become the CEO of Nintendo one day." And then he followed through with it. That angers me.
Do you guys think though? Because I saw limited run games post something earlier. It was like, "Hey, we're really excited for our next run of Xbox games to come out now." Mm-hmm. And they've only ever done, I believe, PlayStation and
Switch. Yeah.
Switch and some PC shit.
Yeah.
Switch is the big one for them, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think, because Xbox is gearing up, in my opinion, and it's how it looks, Game Pass, digital. Do you think this is going to affect any limited releases? because when I buy video games, for my biggest thing is I like to have the physical thing, unless it's on PC. But even then, I would prefer to have the big boxes. I'm just weird like that. I like the collector aspect of it.
Yeah, we see that behind you.
And we see that behind you. Well, those are mostly Funkos.
I ain't got no fucking
if I'm not
Funkos,
mistaken.
you bitch.
Not you,
Whoa,
doofus, the other guy.
I don't like your fucking tone of voice, okay?
Brody's Funkos are just fine.
I'm working on selling a lot of them, okay?
I don't think it would
better
change
built,
anything.
more successful, handsomer version of you has more Funkos behind him.
Jeff, before you go into your intelligent fucking thing you're about to say, I'll beat you up.
I'll dab on you.
Damn.
Jeff, intelligence, please.
We're losing it past you.
I don't think it's really going to affect anything because the whole point is
Okay.
its exclusivity is limited, right?
Right. It's a collector's thing.
Yeah, it's a
for the
collector thing. It's got an urgency to it. It's like the fucking Disney Vault, right?
Does it almost bring it up then?
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, I think it helps indies
Right, okay.
for sure. Either get to a different system or elevate them a little bit better to have the collector's edition for something that otherwise, because I mean those guys are smart. They've built a platform that allows them to go grab small and medium-sized studios that might have pretty good revenue from a game and then be able to give them the things that really a Bethesda or whatever would only have access to in terms of creating different merchandise and collector's editions. So I think that'll be fine. I think it'll stay steady with it. I don't think that's really gonna change. There'll always be older games because there's a thing called time, and that continues to move on. So there'll always be old games.
No, you've never seen Doctor Strange. That doesn't know how that works, Jeffy. I couldn't even say that.
Haven't you seen
one of my least favorite Marvel characters.
Can I plug in a
Really?
question?
I didn't know that.
From a viewer.
Benedict Cumbersnatch?
He's like a fucking alien.
I'm on your snatch.
What?
Benedict, come on her snatch.
Oh, damn it.
We call him
Jesus,
Cucumber Batch here because we're an
Can I-
E-rated show. Clearly.
Can
That's
I
right,
plug
that's
in kind of like a
Fucking right.
question type thing from a listener?
Okay.
Who's a listener? You got to tell me
the
the name.
listener?
It's Ed.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
hi, Ed.
Okay.
Ed.
Yes, Ed.
What is
After
this?
Evan
Is this
just
what-
shit all over
Is this
Nintendo.
PlayStation
Fantastic.
buys
Oh,
Nintendo? Because that's not possible. Because
hope we
Nintendo's
didn't
about
hear
like
that.
90 billion.
Nintendo will never sell.
Ed said, I know you guys are recording tonight, and I can't wait to hear the convo. This is my dilemma at the moment. Do I celebrate the acquisition because of the workers and not the games? That was his question.
I think you don't celebrate any acquisition because you're not making any money off of it. I wouldn't.
Exactly. Just let it happen.
If I was making a ton of money off of it, I wouldn't be on this fucking show. I'd be at a fucking bar.
He'd
saying,
be at a
"Fuck it
party,
to my
a
wellness
rooftop party in
challenge, having
LA
a
with.
glass
Yeah.
of fucking beer and the fucking tomahawk steak."
Here's that
Yeah,
voice.
if I
we
was
know he
making a
wouldn't be doing
severance
that.
package of $70 million, fuck it. Like,
Yeah,
cool.
man.
But at this point,
Yeah.
I'm empty.
Bitch ass.
yeah, I got you. But at this point, I'm
Yeah,
really. It's not so much like. So Evan and I were pretty positive on this overall. Granted,
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
also just trying to be optimistic, right? Like,
Same.
I usually try to go into something like this optimistic and hoping for the best. Granted, I am fully aware this could go absolutely belly up and be a shit show.
Yeah, it could
I'm
either.
fully aware of this, but at the same time, after some of the fucking hiccups we've had in the past couple of years of games and
I'm
bullshit,
down for anything at this point.
yeah, I like good games. I never
for anal.
wish ill on anybody except for fucking Randy Pitchford,
Well, I meant that Bobby Kotick.
and Bobby Kotick. But no,
Don't
I
forget about
truly, I just want good games. I am more than happy to see good games come out. I want to see these studios do what they want to do and not necessarily be tied to one thing or whatever it may be. Yeah, I may be overly optimistic here, and that's very fair. But
Same here.
I don't want to go into it being negative either, because we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what this actually looks like, because there is no precedent for this sort of acquisition. This is so fucking large that there is nothing in video games that is even close. The closest thing, the record was actually set not too long ago by Take-Two for picking up
Yeah.
Zynga for
12.
$12
Literally a
billion.
couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Not
like 2 weeks
even
ago.
in the same fucking realm. It is over 5 times as expensive of a purchase. Like, this is absolutely uncharted territory.
Nintendo
So-
is worth $85 billion.
Right. So
Chump
this
change.
is shortly
comparison.
behind what Nintendo is. It's
Jesus
fucking insane. So I could easily go into it and be negative because Activision has been a shitstorm. Xbox does have a history, or not even Xbox. Microsoft as a whole has a history of mishandling things, but most
Windows
big companies do. And that's part of why they excel. You look at Amazon; they've done a bunch of fucking stinkers over the years. The fucking Valve and Steam have fucked a lot of shit up as well. Don't look at me like that. They've done it, okay? Right? Like they spent so much money on that Steam controller and it did not do well.
It's a piece of my archive over there.
Right. It is a piece of art on your fucking wall. Like every larger company has had these missteps, and it is not uncommon. And so to go into this and assume that Microsoft is going to fuck it up, it's very possible, and that is not an unrealistic take. But at the same time, I do want to see this do well. I do want to see these franchises excel beyond what they currently have been. And I personally, like, again, I purchased my PlayStation 5 before I did my Xbox, but part of me does want to cheer for Xbox because they are a little bit of the underdog in some sense of the realm of like console sales. Granted, revenue, not even fucking close. Like literally double what PlayStation could potentially even make. Sony as a whole, sorry. Which because Sony is pretty much piggybacking on PlayStation at this point, but regardless. But it's not even close in that realm, but at the same time, like from this console war bullshit, which I don't give a fuck about.
Which it's
I just enjoy
down, luckily.
Slowly, ever so fucking slowly.
The eye roll was telling right there.
Right. Personally, I want to see games do well. I want to see developers do well, because if a developer does bad, I don't want to see that developer go away.
It reflects on the entire fucking industry.
Right. And I don't want to see indie games choked out by this acquisition either. I don't want to see anything like that. And I hope Xbox does a good job of managing that to where they still can put indie games at the forefront and still give these smaller developers a megaphone to fucking be like, hey, come check out our game, right? And ultimately, like, again, I'm going in with so much optimism, and I really hope for the best, but I know this could go belly up. I see what Jeff's saying. Jeff has fantastic points on this, and
all of you guys do.
Yeah, and I that's why this is such an interesting panel. We all have very different perspectives on this to some extent, and I think it was cool. Like, this is something that I was super excited for, and it did not disappoint. Like, to me, this is the episode that I think a lot of people should listen to, and I think this is that different perspective. And granted, I am biased, obviously, but this is the episode that really, like, I hope lays out some of the different alternatives alternative ways that this could go, because there's so many ways.
It showcases all of our opinions, and it showcases how nice Jeff and Evan's hair is.
I was gonna say I have no hair.
I'm mean to the gamer community.
Oh, me too. Jeff and I are.
You and Evan both are. Brody and I are
hate
like,
him.
Come on, guys.
I mean,
come sit over here. We're gonna talk it out.
Like Ed's question is a perfect example of like the wrong focus of the entire game community. I mean, first of all, when something gets acquired, I was part of a company that was acquired or had a stake of a piece of it was purchased, and you get a payout. Like you're part of that.
Celebrate.
So the employees are going to get a payout. They're going to get a bonus in that structure because they have a stock buying program, and they probably have a stock earning program as well. If they don't, whatever, there's a stock buying one that's going to go into the retirement fund, so they'll get a kickback now on it, and it'll hit them later when they retire. They're going to be under Microsoft, so they don't have to worry about capital. But like the problem is, they never had to worry about capital. Like there really wasn't much. Like aside from a toxic workforce,
like the PR nightmare they had
at any moment, because last time I checked, we live in America and you could leave.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like we're not building missiles in fucking Soviet Russia. Okay.
You don't know that.
I do understand the concern of leaving
a
job, right? Like it's never easy to just leave.
No, I get it's never easy to leave. I'm saying you can line something else up, but like to Ed's thing where he's like, should we celebrate should I celebrate knowing the team member? I mean, why wouldn't you celebrate? Like, I don't know why you'd even celebrate.
I think the only
why would you do that? It's a company. It doesn't care. Like, you think Microsoft fucking cares about you? Like, it's...
Well, the only circumstance where I'd even celebrate,
Activision doesn't give a fuck about you, dude.
That's like an air quotes celebrate, but it's like the only time I'd even celebrate something like that is that, say, in some other world, Microsoft buys Naughty Dog, and now I get my games on PC, maybe directly, or Xbox, right?
Yeah,
so I don't
just
have
say
to have
the game you want.
No, that goes for every Naughty Dog game, all the Uncharted games, or just like that is something where I would celebrate it, where I'd be like, oh, cool, now I get to play Last of Us on my Xbox or my PC.
Yeah,
cool.
but his thing is celebrating the fact that, to my term, as if people's shackles have been undone, and now they can leave from the concentration camp that is Blizzard Entertainment.
With Jeff's point on that, I will say
didn't like that one.
Not my words.
I know.
There's no. I'm not celebrating them in the sense of like they've been acquired, so now they're like those Activision Blizzard employees are walking out cheering like yay. I don't think they're doing that at all.
Right.
I think it's another day for them, right? Like it's like
go back
to
work.
There's anxiety about it, right? Like,
sure, I'm sure there's anxiety.
Like?
But
they probably didn't want this.
Do you think so?
I don't know if I go that far necessarily.
I would probably say that there's probably a portion of people that probably did not think that this was going to be an outcome. And because here's the problem, right, is people complain about stuff now. There's a base for people to find. People want to complain about other things with other people that are not in that scenario at all. And then all that's going to fucking come about this is there's going to be complaints about Microsoft that come up. There's going to be sexual harassment. Kotaku's going to write some fucking article that's like, going from Bobby Kotick to... this. I mean, there's to go back on what sexual assault claims have come out. There's been a fuck ton that have come out of Microsoft in the last year. Whether or not they're of mass magnitude, I have no fucking idea. I haven't read that much into it, but it's been in the fucking news numerous times. So it's like it's just gonna turn into that shit where it's like they've went from this to another fucking sexual harassment thing under a massive corporation, and then someone's gonna find some fucking complaint about it's a massive tech giant. Then the other fucking side of it's gonna say, I can't fucking believe that they bought this for this amount of money. You shouldn't be able to fucking do that. It's just gonna be complaints. That's all anyone ever fucking does. So
you got Bobby Two Diddles over at Activision going, wait a minute. You're telling me I can't sexually assault Karen over I can't sexually assault Karen over in PR anymore because of Microsoft?
Where do you think Bobby Kotick is from?
No, this is
Long
Bobby
Island.
Two Diddles. This is Bobby Two Diddles.
So
from Long Island.
To play a little bit of devil's advocate here for Ed, I assume his question is more so from the idea of believing that Microsoft is going to come in and do a complete culture change,
the
right?
winged savior.
And we've already acknowledged like that's probably not going to happen. Like there's no way for a company that has gone this long with a culture that is that fucking bad. There is no way you're going to be able to weed out the entire
fire them all.
Yeah, but even then, it's like you don't know
no balls,
who was guilty and who wasn't guilty in this case.
I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm saying that's like the way you would have to do it.
But starting from scratch, from a business perspective, also is not good.
You're shooting yourself in the foot.
You're absolutely shooting yourself in the foot. These are the people that have made Activision as successful as they are now. So it is a fucking double-edged sword, and I get where Ed is coming from for sure. Like I understand that this is more from the view of, oh, well, Microsoft is going to change this. And they very well could, but it's going to take time. And even then, it sounds like this is going to be the type of shit that is going to continue to creep up on them as more and more accusations come out. Because there's probably a lot of them that never made it to mainstream media. Right. The ones that did were, I mean, the fucking guy that McCree was named after. Like the big heavy hitters are going to be the ones that are obviously going to make it to the news. The fucking guy over in accounting that fucking loves to touch people's ass and that nobody gives a fuck about.
Oh, now they're going to change Reinhardt?
No, God, don't do that, man. But Yeah, regardless, like
Fucking
there's
accounting
gonna be
business.
in a culture that seems to be very fucked up from the beginning of Activision. There's gonna be a lot more people that creep up through the woodwork over time, and so it's not gonna be a drastic like snap of the fingers, fucking half of you are fucking gone, and everything's hunky dory. They're not gonna come in and Thanos this shit, right? Like,
I was gonna say I got the reference. It was a Thanos reference.
Yeah,
it was very good.
But
wait,
I again. Starting with Bobby Kotick is a step in the right direction. Move down from there. Try to do the best you can. You're not going to get all the fucking snakes. There's no way.
Are you telling me that Steven Roadhog in development is going to get fired?
Steven Roadhog.
Because of his actions?
Only after Tommy Reinhardt gets fired.
You can only know one character because you only ever played him.
Johnson Junkrat is definitely getting fired.
I was just about to say Johnson Junkrat. I got a Johnson Junkrat in my pants, dude.
What?
Yeah, it's, uncircumcised, not too pleasant on the eyes.
All right, let's move on. Are we done? Are we continuing? What are we doing? Can we get off that topic anyway? I don't want to talk about that.
Brody's like, whoa.
Guys,
wow.
You guys are all wrong. You guys are all wrong. Kevin Bastian in accounting is going to be just fine. Don't worry about him. Like, he hasn't done anything wrong.
What about Martha Mercy? Is she doing fine, or she's
Really Mercy alone? God damn it!
I don't know why I named Mercy Martha.
What about McCree Epstein?
Is there any last fucking Jeff?
Jeff.
Let me take care of Jeff right now. Jeff, you know what you just done.
That was the greatest memes ever, dude. When they were renaming McCree to what's his fucking name? I still call him McCree.
Cassidy.
It's ridiculous. Cassidy.
I call him
Cassidy.
Guy.
Someone came up with a meme and they're like, "Just announced, we're renaming
McCree Epstein."
Epstein. I'm like,
to Jesse Epstein. You're
Jesse
like, oh
Epstein
no!
No, they're not gonna mess with Eric Zenyatta. He's fine. Don't worry about him.
These all sound like fucking NASCAR drivers, the way you guys are sounding.
Like Billy Boat?
Fucking idiots.
Oh, God.
Look that up. Look up. I dare you. Type into Google right now. Type in Billy Boat. You will find a NASCAR driver.
Who's your favorite driver? I love number 42, Eric Zenyatta.
Look up Billy Boat.
Chevy.
Is there any last thoughts on this before we close out for the night?
Just a super quick thing that I did think about as this all was coming out. What if
before we made light of sexual harassment?
Yeah. On top
make
of
light
all
of
of
it.
that, I guess I'm just gonna fucking
Made a couple ha-has at it.
I wonder if we're gonna get some sort of whether it's a permanent subscription to WoW with Game Pass Ultimate or a temporary. That is one that would be a good attempt to breathe life back into WoW as it slowly gets actually not even slowly, very, very rapidly gets overwhelmed by Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Whether it's a temporary 3-month fucking subscription, 6-month subscription, or a full fucking blown thing. Granted, at this point in time, if they want to continue WoW, they need to just make a whole new fucking WoW. It is outdated as fuck.
They need to do that. And to piggyback off yours, does Microsoft now go into custom wireless mouse and keyboard for the Xbox Series X and Series S?
Because all their accessories suck ass.
They do, but
not for Xbox, but their PC accessories suck ass.
Right, but do you think they go into it and they use it under the Xbox moniker?
They did partner with Razer, and then nothing came of it.
Well, that's odd.
They barely did.
Razer is
because the Razer CEO's a nutbag.
This is also true. Yeah,
that's a different episode.
That's a different episode. But yeah, they initially, when they started announcing xCloud, and I think it was even before that, they announced that there was going to be a Xbox branded mouse and keyboard. Okay. And then I think it came out to little to no fanfare, and then I don't think I've seen anything since.
Who the fuck
it was
wants
called
to
the
play
Bulldog
with a fucking keyboard and mouse on your Xbox?
You can't play WoW without it.
Yeah, I know, but
this is true.
You're gonna look like a fucking idiot. You put your Xbox on your desk and sit there plugging it in.
TV tray, baby. You fucking.
No, I have the tray.
Yeah, no, that was that Corsair made one. I think it was called the Bulldog, and that was
the
one.
Bulldog.
But no, I have no. For instance, if they're offering that, then more the merrier. I'd rather have Xbox users using keyboards and mice than using controllers where they have ungodly aim assist.
I just think it's a stupid.
That's a different episode.
Xbox with a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I mean, you
Get a
might think
fucking
that,
computer.
but then there. Well, yeah, I mean, you can
it's
argue
a
both sides
Windows-
for that.
Windows device.
Well, you can argue both sides for that, right? Like you can argue, yeah, just use a controller. I mean, personally, if I'm going to play on a console, I'd probably use a controller because they get freaking great aim assist compared to like us because we have none. But then sometimes gamers might as well. They'd rather prefer to have a mouse because they have more control over their actual
over a
movement.
field. Yes.
Like, yeah, they have a lot more opportunity there, right? Like you can only flick so fast with a controller. You can flick in any way you need to with a
That's
mouse.
another episode that I would love to do one time as at least a
But
hot
we
take.
should. Oh, do you know that's a main episode? Fucking console and PC because you guys are primarily console. We're PC guys. That'd be a good episode.
We're the master race.
I've done
It's
both
okay.
too, so I think at least the three of us have pretty extensively. So
Jeff's like, you guys are idiots. That's
I was
cool.
born with a.
he's like, I love
mouse in my
City
mouth."
Skylines. And
Hey man, that's
Civ.
good. Hey man, yeah,
Watch
that's
this.
good.
There's
Jeff,
nothing
blown
wrong
away.
with that shit at all.
Yeah, that's
Jeff.
all good.
I enjoy Civ 6.
Thanks, buddy.
A
That's good.
The
He's
Ooga
not
Booga
good
man.
at
Ooga
not
Booga
good at
guy.
it.
I'm not good, but Ooga Booga brain likes thinking man game.
He's getting smarter every day.
We should play
Not
each
really.
other.
No. You're going to nuke me right off the game right
I
away.
already
Jeff's
had,
like,
I
I
had
will
nuclear
fuck your
proliferation
life
and
up.
like fucking small amount of turns. I love to nuke fucking everybody.
You're a
Yeah,
bastard.
I
Egypt
go
like
for
tried
science.
doing some shit on an island, and it was like, "Hey, we're just gonna take this over." And I went, "No
He turned
deal,"
it
and then
into
I fucking
he turned it
nuked
into
them.
3 Mile Island.
Had to wait like 13 turns for it to fucking go from Chernobyl to a usable piece of land.
Jesus.
Okay.
So, any more closing thoughts on what we got here? This our shit talking could be a whole nother episode.
No,
too.
I just hope that people play fucking games instead of bitching about a bunch of stuff all the
Right.
time.
Get off fucking Twitter and go
Boom,
play some
that's where it
goddamn
is.
games. I like
That's
it.
my thing. Get off Twitter, get off fucking
I think-
Reddit, and play some fucking video games. You know,
That's
if you
the
don't like
best
what's going on
closing
at the
argument.
company, stop playing the fucking video games. It's literally the only thing you could actually do instead of bitch on Twitter.
yeah,
you know, get
bitching
on
on
with
Reddit
it.
does nothing. Just
You know,
stop playing it.
and
Stop buying
let's
it.
not selectively praise giant corporations just because the other one's
This is
pretty
true.
fucking bad, and all of a sudden Microsoft's fucking great.
Right.
Okay, yeah, great. You know,
I mean,
last final
historically,
word: management
most
of
large
all of
corporations
this.
aren't great.
Two words: Windows 11. I'm
yeah,
done.
not good. All right. Jeff's done.
I
Bye.
truly do believe. I think that is the best argument to close it out. Is like, quit bitching. Just play some fucking games.
some
Enjoy your
fucking
time
games.
on whatever the console of your choice
Yep.
or
I'll wait
or
when we talk
PC
about
of your
this.
choice may be.
Dude, we got a couple episodes out of this, Brody.
Except if it's a Nintendo, don't have fun with that. You won't have fun with that. It's not fun.
Oh, you just pissed Ed off, dude.
Don't
I didn't,
do that.
dude.
to
I'll
Ed.
wait. I'll
Wasn't about
I'll
Ed.
wait
it was just
until,
about the
like,
culture in general.
2 months from now when everyone's complaining on Reddit and Twitter about how big Microsoft is. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Oh, yeah, it's a
About
matter
2
of
months.
He's like
Yeah,
my-
it'll be something about
he's like my
capitalism
teacher
and
from
just people
high
being
school.
awful. You know, it'll be great.
He's like my teacher from high school. Whenever we would talk too much, I'll wait.
Oh,
Like,
wait.
shit.
I'll wait.
When she
Oh,
says
shit,
that,
shit.
she means business. She's writing down your
Yeah,
name on
dude.
that piece of paper right now. Shut
I
up.
know. I mean business. dude,
Jeff's
big
got a
time.
black book for sure.
Boys.
Oh, he
Like
does.
before
Bobby Kotick
I-
and Jeffrey Epp are right up at the top.
Jeffrey Epp, you gave him a fucking nickname?
What? Is he going to have a
Bad
problem with it in hell?
He's not in hell, dude.
Where is he then?
This isn't Conspiracy Corner. We're not an OBO. I'll go into an OBO on Monday.
He's dead, bro. I
Jesus
confirmed it myself.
It's in a
I was
dead
there.
Anyways,
I did
anyways.
the deed.
Just close this shit out before it gets too off the rails. We
so-
did so good.
Yeah.
do you guys think it's appropriate
Oh my god.
I maybe,
No,
tease
just
something
end
going
it.
on?
Just
We want to end it?
Just end it. Good
Not
lord.
not
just
after
end
the segues from Jeffrey Epstein.
it. Yeah,
Okay,
just
fine.
end
No.
it.
Probably not
Remember
the
what
best
happened
segue.
last
You-
time?
Yeah, I got in trouble. You guys will have to wait until maybe a couple episodes from now for me to tease it. As always, guys, WASD and Beyond is sponsored by Final Boss Cult Clothing. We are always stoked to have the Diggity Podcast on the show. This is also their show tonight, so they're always stoked to have us on, possibly, maybe, who knows. But, yeah, find WASD and Beyond on Twitter and Instagram at Beyond WASD. We go not live. Diggity goes live. We upload our shit on Wednesdays and on Fridays at 7 a.m. in the morning. Be there for that. Brody, where can everyone find Diggity Podcasts? Go and Diggity.
You can find Diggity Podcast on Twitter at Diggity Podcast, and on Instagram you can find us at Diggity Pod. And other than that, I mean, we go live every Thursday night at 9:30, and our episode comes out bright and early on Friday morning at 5 o'clock.
The ass crack of Bobby Kotick.
The
Oh my god! And don't forget to check out OBO on Mondays, guys. Until next week, see you guys later. Brody, any last words?